child-free husband of 20 years, Lucas North, suddenly sprang up with a 7-year-old child. And after careful investigation I found out that the one he was keeping outside was pregnant again. And even Mrs. North, who was retired at home, had moved in to take care of her pregnancy. When the truth come out, I hysterical and Lucas North. I had a lot of fights with Lucas North. The elders and peers around me all advised me, why do you have to bring things to this stage? You are at least 20 years of husband and wife. In fact, the North City this thing it we can understand. Men. In the end, or need to have after he is not a woman. Rootless drifters. My eyes tearful to see a word Lucas North. He has been the early 40s, but the face well maintained and still good looking. He's in his early 40s, but his face is well maintained and still looks good. You can have the kids back. That's the most lenient thing I can do, he said. Lucas North picked up the car keys and headed out the door. I thought he was acquiescing to my words. But he took down the wedding photo in the foyer before leaving the house. It wasn't easy for Yo-Yo to suffer the pains of bearing a baby for me. I will never leave her alone outside. He looked at me with no love in his eyes. If you can't accept them as mother and child, from today 1357 I'll go and live over there. Point 246 come back to accompany you. I clenched my palms in death. No longer delusional between me and him reconcile. Make up as before. In that case, let's get a divorce. One inside the room. Everyone was shocked into silence by my words. Even Lucas North's movement to close the door paused. He was a bit incredulous, pursing his lips and looking up at me with a complicated expression. Claire Wen, don't be ridiculous. I wiped away my tears as a pang of pain shot through my heart. I'm not fooling around. Lucas North, let's get a divorce. Lucas North's face was hard. Slightly reproachful eyes fell on me. Claire Wen, after 20 years, why are you still so willful? Yo-Yo is 10 years younger than you. Yet she is gentle and understanding. She knows her status is embarrassing. Yet she has never complained. She only wants to keep me and her children. She has done nothing wrong. She gave birth to my child. And now you want me to snatch the child from her and throw her outside. I can't do that. I can't be that cruel and heartless to her. He said the words softly, slamming them into my heart but sending ripples after ripples. I closed my eyes. 20 years ago, Lucas North and I fell in love. Young and in tune with each other, we knew we weren't confident enough to take on the responsibilities of parenthood in our 20s. I was afraid of the pain. So Lucas North took the initiative to go to the hospital to get sterilized. And since then we've always taken safety precautions whenever we've made out. This caused great dissatisfaction in both families in those days. But Lucas North did not think so. Lucas North and I were kicked out by Lu's father, who then set up his own business with me, starting from scratch. 10 years ago, when both parents were pushing for a baby, was the worst time to start a business. At one point, Lu's mother was so aggressive that she held a knife to her neck to force Lucas North and me to have a child. It was impossible for me to say that I wasn't shaken up. So I asked Lucas North, do you really not want to have a child? Even after seeing your mom like this, do you still hold on to this idea? Actually, we can have a child. Lucas North stared at me, holding my hand with affection in his eyes. Yuci, I don't want you to suffer from the pain of having a baby, and I don't want us to rush into parenthood under these circumstances. Can you understand that? I understood. But I still told him. If you want to have a baby someday, just tell me and we'll talk about it. Lucas North agreed. 7 years ago, Lu's father suddenly stopped being angry. And Lu's mother stopped pushing. Even the two old men proposed to go to another city to eat, drink and enjoy the city of retirement, and Lucas North from time to time to go over to visit the two old men's living situation. I thought that the two old man was thinking of opening up, and then, I saw a photo of him and another woman's family of 3 on Mrs. North's registered social platform account. I realized that the original Lucas North up to 7 years between the two cities back and forth between the original intention is the heart of another family. Lu mother recorded those happy moments like a sword straight into the bottom of my heart, so that I hurt so much that I cannot breathe. I opened my mouth and realized that my voice was already hoarse. What about me, Lucas North? Aren't you cruel and heartless when you do this to me? A flash of guilt flashed across Lucas North's face, and even his voice softened. I'm sorry, Yuka. I also just don't want you to suffer the pain of having children. If you want, I can take them all over to live with us. I smiled bitterly. You mean, my husband cheated on me? Not only do I have to forgive my husband, I also have to accept his and my mistress' children, and now I have to live with my mistress under one roof with my head down and my head up. Lucas North muffled his voice and stopped defending. He also thoughtfully called away all the relatives in the house when he left. You porcelain. I know you can't accept it for a while. It's okay. You slowly accept it. But I still insist on my idea. Yao Yao and the child. I can't leave one of them behind. I sat up all night. At dawn, I made a phone call to the company's attorney. Do you know how to draw up divorce papers? Do you know how to draw up divorce papers? I want a divorce. Lucas North was there for a week, just as he said he would be, and didn't come back. When the paparazzi I paid a lot of money to talk to sent me a bunch of photos and videos, I shook my hand and almost didn't even have the courage to click on them. Since this matter has become a big deal, Lu's mother is not hiding her face. And she is not staging a good relationship with me as a mother-in-law and daughter-in-law. She can't wait to send 800 videos a day to record the warmth of the Lucas North family. Lucas North with children. Lucas North teaching children to write. Lucas North holding the pregnant one out for a walk. Even the title is happy. Dad again with children. Dad is taking the kids out for family outing again. The good grandson is in 1st grade this year. And he still wants his father to teach him how to write. My son and daughter-in-law and the photos taken by the paparazzi are not far from each other. And they are obviously everyday warm photos. But they hurt my eyes. After half a day's thought, I commented below. If she's your daughter-in-law, then what's that person in the column on your son's spouse? Almost the instant it was sent, the comment was deleted. Immediately afterward, Lu's mother sent a 60-second voice. What are you blindly commenting under my video? What do you want people to think of my grandson when you say that? He is still a child and you want to make him bear the reputation of illegitimate child. Why are you so vicious? I'm telling you I have a score to settle with you. You don't want to have a child with my son. You even urge my son to get a sterilization. Then, several 60-second voices followed. Even though I had already broken my heart and cried dry tears in the past few days, my tears still fell when I heard Mrs. North speculate about me in the most flattering way. I don't understand how people can change just like that. Mrs. North, who treated me like a daughter, and Lucas North, with whom I had been married for 20 years, came back to see me sitting by the window, sobbing until I lost my voice. And when he came over to me, he was still carrying the cold air from outside. He simply took off his jacket and tucked my cold hands into his sweater to keep them warm. For a moment, I suddenly felt that we had returned to 20 years ago, when we were most in love. At that time we were miserable. Lu's father cut off all of Lucas North's livelihood just to make him realize the mistake of tying the knot. Even me, Lu's father didn't like. We sleep in the basement in this big city, eat bubble buns. The poorest time cannot even afford to buy a piece of sanitary napkins. The coldest time 2 people shrink in a bed wearing all the clothes wrapped in a quilt cover, freezing and talking to shiver. I also cry like this. I always think to give up. Give up. Give up. If you freeze like this, Lucas North's already bad body will freeze even worse. North City, let's give up. Let's divorce. Let's go back and admit your faults. Maybe you can even go back now and drink hot chicken soup. Lucas North hugged me, tucking my hands into his shirt and pinning my feet with tension and fear. No, I won't divorce you. Yuchera. I won't admit that I'm wrong. I'm not wrong. I'm sorry. The ligature hurts. I didn't want you to suffer. And in the end it still made you suffer. The tears of that year and the tears of this year overlapped, and the bitter flavor spread from the tip of the tongue. Lucas North. Let's move. Okay. You like kids. Let's have our own. Okay. Why? Why didn't you tell me when you wanted kids? The long silence was like a stick that woke me up. I came back to my senses, and looked at Lucas North with a flabbergasted look on his hesitant and complicated face. And I realized that he was not the only one who came back. This was the first time Lin and I met. As in the video shot by Lu's mother, she is young, charming, and exudes maternal tenderness throughout. And I was a little confused and went to look at the mirror by the window. My eyes were red and swollen like walnuts. Even the wrinkles at the corners of my eyes were crying out. It is really wretched. Lin's eyes were fixed on the place where Lucas North warmed my hand. The sadness in her eyes didn't seem to be faked. But she still held back and pushed the child beside her up to say hello to me. Lucas North was very distressed by this side of her, and didn't hesitate to take my hand and walk over to put his arm around her shoulders. He didn't say anything, just kissed Lin's forehead with a soothing, loving kiss. The sourness in my eyes came back, and the tips of my fingers, which were not completely warm, became chilly again. Lin touched her face in embarrassment, and raised a smug smile to me as if she had no intention of doing so. Star, quickly go. This is Aunt Wen. Quickly say hello to Aunt Wen. I was stunned and asked her incredulously. What is his name? Ethan Lu, Star of Stars. Beicheng said he hopes he will be as bright and desirable as the stars in the sky in the future. For only a moment, my head buzzed. Ethan Lu pursed his lips and said something to me that I couldn't hear. I looked incredulously at Lucas North, who had his head bowed, too weak to look me in the eye. Ethan Lu was the name that Lucas North and I had agreed on when we first talked about what we should name our children after we had them. Even the hope of the name. Lucas North did not change a bit and moved to Lin and her son. Is this what he wants? To pluck out my heart? Lucas North, how can you take the name that I picked out with you and use it for the child you had with another woman? As the words fell, Lucas North immediately chided me in a low voice. Claire Wen, don't talk nonsense. I snapped back to my senses and watched as Lucas North panicked and went to explain to Lin, only to realize that the words I had just said directly caused Lin to turn white. My throat tightened, and I subconsciously wanted to step forward to explain. However, Lucas North's stern and alert eyes stopped me in my tracks. Lin had a hard time for a long time, crying and saying a lot of things. If my child with you is to make up for the regret that you and Sister Wen don't have a child, then I hate that I didn't have this child in the first place. Beicheng, I love you. You can belittle me and neglect me, but Star is innocent. The first don't want him to be born to make up for the regrets of you and others. I know that Sister Wen can't accept us as mother and child. This matter had occurred to me as early as 7 years ago, so I have always listened to you. Obedient and well-behaved, bringing my child to wait for you in another city. Today, you suddenly said that you can bring me to this side. I thought, I can be with you forever. But look at when Sister's attitude. Beicheng, or send me and the stars back. I don't want to. I don't want to bring my child to see other people's face. She cried sadly. Lucas North was anxious. No matter what she said, all responded one by one. Yao, you look at me. Star is my child with you. He is not my regret with others. I love you. I love the child. I didn't and won't belittle you or neglect you and the child. I will give you all the best I can. The best I can give. You don't care what her attitude is. This is my home. The house I bought. My Lu family. No one dares to look at you and star in this house. Good boy. Don't think too much. The baby in your tummy doesn't want to see mommy sad either. Lucas North's words are words that kill me. Yes. Every brick and tile here belongs to Lucas North. What does it have to do with me? Claire Wen. I laughed bitterly. After Luna Lin and her son left, I handed over the drafted divorce papers. Sign it. Lucas North casually skimmed his eyes and picked up his clothes without caring and swept past me. Claire Wen, you're not young. You'll be 40 next year. Don't make jokes like that anymore. I've been married to you for 20 years, and now I'm divorced. What do you want those outside media and collaborators to think of me? I sneered. Yes. This is the current situation of Lucas North and me. Everything has changed since Lucas North and I started our business. The partnership that I signed 10 years ago was a direct result of our small company becoming the leading company in the city. However, Lucas North and I had a disagreement over the position we were to be assigned. I wanted to be the general manager and continue the business. But Lucas North wanted me to return to my family and be a socialite, and then he made the decision for me and recruited a new person to replace me. I was angry. But with the persuasion of Lucas North's mother, I chose to put the matter to rest. But after this, Lucas North and I were no longer close. I tried many ways to get closer to him, but there was always a veil between me and him that I couldn't see through. When I tried to talk to Lucas North, he would always use his work as an excuse to avoid me, or he would say, "It's not true. You're overthinking it." And then, we became what we are now. Relationships are broken and interests prevail. Change your clothes and go out with me. Today I purposely brought Yao Yao and Xing back to spend time with you. Seeing that I didn't move, he frowned and randomly pulled a jacket and forced it on for me, zipping it up. He also didn't forget to admonish. And don't talk nonsense again. I'll explain the matter of Star's name to you some other time. When we arrived at the place, Lucas North pushed Ethan Lu towards my arms. You familiarize yourself with Star first. Then, he bent down and was as gentle as he was with Luna Lin. Star will play with Auntie Wen today, and Daddy and Mommy will go buy Star clothes and toys. Okay. Ethan Lu happily agreed. I was numbly led by him towards the food court at the other end. Like all children, he craves for fried food. I didn't know if he could eat it, so I tried to call Lucas North, but he never answered his phone. And 7-year-old Ethan Lu saw it and bared his fangs for the first time. My mom and dad are busy on a date. Why are you calling them? You're not my mom. What do you care if I can eat this? Dad asked you to take me on a play date, so whatever I want to play or eat, you just buy it for me. Don't worry about the rest. You're just an outsider. My breath caught in my throat and I couldn't even say anything to retort. On the way back, Ethan Lu was screaming about a stomach ache and his face turned white with pain. Luna Lin cried out in fear. Lucas North was also scared and stepped on the gas to the hospital. After a checkup, the doctor said it was food poisoning and the situation was quite serious. He recommended an 4-drip and hospitalization for observation. A week Ethan Lu cried for his mom and looked at me with fear. I told you that I can't eat apple pie because of my weak stomach. But Auntie Winnie said she wanted to eat it and she wanted to buy it. And she bought me a fist-sized one and insisted me to eat it. And after I ate it, I started to have pains. Luna Lin also cried and begged for help. Luna Lin also cried and looked at me pleadingly. Sister Wen, I was wrong. I shouldn't have fallen in love with Beicheng. I shouldn't have appeared in front of you. What you have towards me is fine. Please don't hurt my Star. He was born in my October womb. It's my life. I realized something was wrong. I was busy opening my mouth to explain. But Lucas North's slap landed on my face first. He glared at me in anger. He could not wait to kill me. I told you to take it out on me if you had any anger. I really didn't think that you would go and hurt an innocent child. I tersely argued with him. It wasn't me. He asked for it. I tried to call you to ask if he could eat it, but you didn't answer. That's enough. Shut up. Lucas North looked at me with coldness in his eyes. As I recall, you've always loved apple pie, Claire. When you're really not cut out to have kids. With one sentence, I was finalized and hammered into speechlessness. He looked at me from disappointment, took out the folded divorce papers from his pocket and signed with a hospital pen. Haven't you always wanted a divorce? Then get divorced first. And am not comfortable with you living with them in an unbalanced state of mind. Well, talk about remarriage when you've adjusted. I was suddenly relieved. No longer arguing. Calmly picked up the divorce papers that were thrown on the ground, folded and put away. Before I left, I calmly looked at Lucas North. Lucas North, I quit apple pie 10 years ago because of sweet toothache. You forget. Lucas North opened his mouth in disbelief and couldn't utter a word. I went home alone and looked back at the house where Lucas North and I had lived for 10 years. After the success of our business, we moved back to live with Lu's family and renovated the old house in the meantime. Lucas North and I handpicked every brick, tile, grass and tree in this compound, as well as the biggest oak tree in the backyard, which Lucas North and I transplanted from the park next to the basement. When we had no money, our greatest entertainment was to go for a walk in the park next to the basement. Lucas North said, I would like to dedicate this tree to commemorate the 10 years of suffering that I have suffered with you, porcelain, and I will never let Claire win down. As long as the tree is there, the vow will be there. It's not spring yet, and the oak tree is dry and lifeless. Just like the 10 years behind Lucas North and me, there was no life at all. I found a chainsaw from the utility room and asked the neighbor's husband to help me cut down the oak tree. The neighbor was surprised. Every fall when the oak tree is yellowing and the leaves are falling, my husband and I can see you and your husband carrying a table and 2 stools on the rooftop of the top floor, snuggling under the tree, reading a book and drinking tea. So far, 10 years, isn't it? Now all of a sudden you want to cut it down. Do you and your husband really want to give it up? I sip my tea and smile faintly. Life is nothing but a sea, a mountain and a river. There's nothing to give up. The neighbor was silenced and didn't speak again. 10 years of oak tree just fell in the yard, heart sour, but also a sense of relief. I contacted someone to come to my home and take care of it. The neighbor and her husband were sweating, and as a token of appreciation, I gave them a tea set that I had treasured in my house for a long time. This tea set is also a treasured one that Lucas North took me to see at auction after the success of the business. I took a look at the things Lucas North had given me over the years. Every item is worth a lot of money. Emerald bracelets, gold necklaces, high-priced customized veil, to the back of a series of luxury bags that never picked up. Forget it. I can't use them all anyway. I contacted someone to sell these at a low price, plus the half of Lucas North's property on the divorce papers, which is enough for me to spend the rest of my life. At the end of the purge, I realized that there was surprisingly little I was taking with me. I took a shower and changed my clothes. I was thankful that I had always taken good care of my skin and my health in order to look as good as 29 at 39 years of age. It's a good sign that I can wear dainty pearl earrings and set off a subdued emerald bracelet at the same time. In a short heel, I carried a bag and headed out the door. Unlike in the past, I didn't bring home the key to the lock anymore. I left the key inside, along with 20 years of marriage and affection. After this, I will never return here again. Lucas North drove home after calming Luna Lin and Ethan Lu. His brow was a frown of undeniable annoyance and unease. He didn't know what was wrong with him lately. When he saw Ethan Lu like that today, he even lost control and hit Claire for the first time. He didn't even give her a chance to defend herself. Thinking of the way Claire looked at him before she left the hospital with the signed divorce papers, she looked at him faintly, without any emotion. Ciao. Lucas North hammered hard on the steering wheel as he pulled over to the side of the road and opened the window to blow the cold air. All these years of pampering and cultivating his body, he hadn't been like this for a long time. Just like a small child in his teens or 20s. Snort. Lucas North laughed, inexplicably thinking of the years when the business venture didn't go well. He was also this irritable. At that time, he also liked to run to the footbridge, the river, and the top floor to blow the cold wind. He lit a cigarette. His eyes are lax. Clairwyn would come over to him at that time and hold him in her arms, soothing him gently. The neon lights flashed in the distance. Lucas North was burned back to God by the cigarette burned to his fingertips. He waited for a while. He waited until the anxiety in his heart was completely soothed by the cold air and smoke before he got back in the car and continued the drive. He thought, well, this time it was his impulse. He would go back and apologize to Clairwyn properly. By the time he pulled up in front of the compound, it was dark. Lucas North pulled out his cell phone and checked the time, a little chagrined that he had spent too much time at the hospital. He looked up at the house and there wasn't a single light. His heart felt like it had been smashed, a dull ache. He entered the password, raised his foot and was about to enter the door, but was suddenly stopped by the next-door neighbor. Lucas North gently frowned. This neighbor he knew, and Clairwyn relationship is very good. In the past, when Clairwyn was bored at home, she would ask this neighbor to go out shopping. North City. I'm going shopping with my sister next door today. Can you help me see which outfit I should wear out? Clairwyn arched her eyebrows and smiled lightly. Lucas North momentarily shook his eyes and lifted his feet towards his neighbor. Nodding her head, the neighbor and her husband looked at each other and decided to tell Lucas North about this afternoon's incident. The tea set that had been treasured for a long time was handed over to Lucas North, and his face was hard to see. This set of tea set looks like you porcelain's beloved thing. I definitely can't accept it. But her attitude this afternoon is too resolute. I can't push back. So it'll trouble you to take it back. As he said goodbye, Lucas North was called out again. The neighbor wanted to say 2 more words. I have been with you, porcelain, for so many years. She has always been a gentle and strong person. You are her husband. There is something to be said to each other to talk about it. To be honest, to see her so difficult, the heart is really not a taste. Lucas North stood at the door of the backyard holding a tea set. Opening the door was not a good idea. Not opening the door was not a good idea either. He had just searched. No one was home. Clairwyn was not at home. The full-length mirror next to him reflected Lucas North's dark and uncertain expression, his head hanging down like an abandoned stray pet. After losing count of the number of calls had dialed when the phone was turned off, he gently set the tea set down on a nearby shelf and went to open the door to the backyard with a shaky hand. The moment he turned on the light, Lucas North froze in place, his pupils shrinking slightly. When he heard the neighbors just now, he thought that Clairwyn had dragged them into a play for him to see. His blood poured through his entire body, and he walked to the oak tree with the same hand and the same foot in a staggered manner. Heart, as if clutched by a big invisible hand, cannot breathe. The doorbell of the main door was rung. Lucas North body unloaded, no longer have the strength to support him to return to open the door. He took out his cell phone and connected to the door surveillance. Looking at the clothes, the door is a few staff. Tapping on his voice. Lucas North lowered his voice. Yes. The few people at the door explained the purpose of their visit, and the conversation fell into a long silence. Lucas North hung his head and looked at the oak tree, a hurt look in his eyes. His throat rolled and he opened his mouth several times without making a sound. Finally, he tried to suppress the lump in his throat. No need to bother traveling now. Lucas North moved the square table out, and moved 2 stools, just cold tea, wrapped in thick clothes in front of the oak tree to sit all night. The next day, He stayed up all night and called the friend who helped him transplant the oak tree 10 years ago. Do you remember the oak tree you helped me transplant? Can you go to that park again and help me find one that has grown for 10 years? My friend heard that the mood between his words was not right and asked him what was wrong. He rasped his voice and looked confused. Claire, when? She doesn't seem to want me anymore. After the oak tree in the yard was returned to its original position, Lucas North smiled happily. He also carved a wooden plaque with his bare hands that read, "In honor of Lucas North and Claire when second decade together." His friends sighed and left. Lin called and Lucas North hung up. Later, he was so annoyed that he simply turned off his cell phone. After hanging the wooden sign, he cleaned up the yard again and then called to inquire about attorney custody. He remembered that Yuka had said that she could accept the child. After a busy day, the compound was once again quiet. Lucas North sat alone at the dining table, his face frozen. He thought of Yukai again. In the past 2 days that she was not there, he kept thinking about her. He watched yesterday's surveillance. Yuka left the house with nothing but a small bag. She would definitely come back. He had to take this time to arrange everything so that she wouldn't be angry with him when she came back. But CAO. Lucas North kicked over the dining table, smashed everything in his hand, and slapped himself several times. When Lin entered the house with Ethan Lu entering the password, she saw Lucas North sitting on the floor. Her eyelids jumped, and she went up to assist him. Her eyelids jumped and she rushed up to assist her. She was already pregnant. North City, what's wrong with you? I heard that Sister Wen left. When she asked this, the corners of her mouth rose uncontrollably. Lucas North noticed this and asked her, "Are you happy that she's gone?" Lin looked at Lucas North's expression and confirmed that his attitude towards her was the same as usual, and then said what she really thought. "Of course I'm happy." She followed Claire Wen's example and smiled gently. Beicheng, this means that Star and I can finally stand squarely with you. As for Sister Wen, let her go if she wants to go. Or what if she takes something else to force the stars to eat it next time? In the end, she has never given birth. How can she understand the feeling of hurt in the body of the child and pain in the heart of the mother? As she said, she was about to shed tears. But a pair of big hands pinched her neck before her tears fell. Lucas North had no expression on his face, but his eyes were scary, beady and cruel. Lin, I remember I said, don't even think about replacing Yuci. He was furious, choking Lin to the point of near fainting. Finally, he shook off his hand, ignoring Lin who was kneeling on the ground and coughing, and directly pulled her up to exit the courtyard, leaving Ethan Lu standing in the courtyard. At a loss, Lucas North looked at him with a headache, and for the first time felt that this child was such an eyesore. This is if he and you porcelain's child. Lucas North pursed his lips and had a complicated mood. He called in a nanny to take care of Ethan Lu's food and living as well as going to school, and arranged for attorney to fight the lawsuit with Lin. He himself handed over all the affairs of the company to the other shareholders, and then followed Yuchen's example and traveled to a faraway place to look for Yuchen with light clothes. He couldn't wait. Yuchen had already left for half a month. He was afraid that if he didn't go looking for her, she wouldn't come back. I followed the young people from the club to take a group photo on the Rocky Mountains, counting the days. In half a month I will be able to successfully get my divorce certificate. Since I left Lu's house that day, I bought a plane ticket and flew to Xinjiang. Lucas North and I had always talked about settling in Xinjiang for a while, but he was so busy with his work that he never had time to come. I stayed in Xinjiang for a week and signed up for a mountaineering club online. They were all young men and women in their early 20s, and at first they were worried that I wouldn't be able to make it, but after climbing a couple of mountains they stopped treating me like an old man. Now, I have fully integrated into their circle. Sometimes I feel as if I am back in my 20s again. I never thought that I would meet Lucas North at the foot of the mountain, rather than meeting him. He came to find me. After saying goodbye to my friends from the club, I led Lucas north to a small restaurant for a drink. I ordered an ice cream because I was a little hot from the snowy mountains, and Lucas north frowned as he watched me eat the ice cream one bite at a time. Eating ice cream on this day is not good for your health. You're not a 20-year-old girl. He gave a start and I froze. Then I smiled with relief. I went to see a Chinese medicine practitioner, and the others said my body is young. After the silence, I finished my ice cream nonchalantly and turned my head to ask him, "Did you make a special trip to see me for something?" Lucas north pursed his lips, his gaze settling on me somberly. "Sorry about that Ethan Lu gastroenteritis thing earlier." I smiled unnecessarily. "It's okay. It's in the past." Lucas north's breath hitches and he speaks again, his voice trembling a little. "And that. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it." I looked at him uncertainly, and it took me a while to think back before I realized which sentence he was talking about. I thought for a moment and dialed a number. About 15 minutes later, a little girl with crocheted hair was led to me by the head of the club. She hugged and kissed me, and crisply shouted, "Mommy when?" Lucas north's eyes were full of disbelief. I took out the girl's previous photo, gray and puffy, not at all looking like her current delicate and lovely appearance. "Her name is Nian Nian." I hugged the girl and told where she came from. She was the child I adopted from the orphanage on the first day I left the Lu family. At first she was skinny, malnourished and ugly. Now, she is soft and white. But it's only been 20 days. So, Lucas north, I don't endorse that statement of yours. It's true that I've never had a child, but isn't it clear to you what I haven't had a child for? Actually, I wanted to have a child with him, but he didn't want to. The reason for his reluctance is simple. Lin is pregnant. Lucas north stumbled a bit and stuttered. You know all about it." I nodded. I knew about Lucas north and Lin's past. I was a big contributor to the success of the company's founding, and most of the company looked up to me as the backbone than Lucas north, who scorned me but couldn't leave me behind because he was still in love with me at that time. He was torn and twisted, and that's where Lin came in. Lin, who has little ability, is a doddering flower that grows up depending on a man. And her gentle nature was exactly like mine. That's why Lucas north was happy to keep her from me. I thought it was a bit funny. "Lucas north, what was your first reaction when you found out she was pregnant?" Lucas north almost ran away. It was rare to see this scene. Since he passed 30 he was stoic as hell. Actually, I know without him saying it. It was elation. The elation of being a first-time father. People are so strange, and their wives to measures to do a full set. And outside the wildflowers to everything in the edge of the excitement of the test. The club's activities still have 5 days to go. These 5 days, Lucas north is always not far from the near behind me and Nian Nian. I didn't care about her either. I just took care of Nian Nian and me. When we climbed the mountain, I left Nian Nian in the care of the chief's wife. On the way down, I saw Lucas north buying a lot of toys and food to make Nian Nian happy. But Nian Nian didn't buy it. When she saw me, her eyes lit up and she ran up to me and hugged my legs, asking for snacks. While Lucas north followed her with a sad face and didn't say a word. I hugged Nian Nian and skipped him. "Lucas north, please go back. Lin and her son are still waiting for you, aren't they?" Lucas north stubbornly refused to go, and one after another, he opened his cell phone album to show me photos. "Yuka, look, this is the new oak tree we transplanted into our house. I even carved a wooden plaque on it. He enlarged the wooden plaque. When I saw the words on it, I stood still and stared at him without a word. After a long time, Lucas North was defeated. As if his whole Buddhist strength had been drained away. Yuci, I regret so much. If only I had followed your wish to have a child. He looked greedily at me and Nian Nian. If that was the case, then we would be very happy now. I kept quiet and veered around him. Half a month later, I brought Nian Nian back to get a divorce license from Lucas North. He looked a little more haggard than last time. When he saw me, he smiled bitterly and mumbled. I realized that a lot had happened in the past half-month. Lin had a miscarriage the night she was kicked out by Lucas North. A few days ago, Lucas North found out that Ethan Lu is not related to him. After all, after 7 years of raising her, such a blow is indeed a bit big. This is my retribution, I guess. Lucas North forced a smile. He looked at me, wanting to speak. Rain China, we can still. I interrupted him. Reminding. Go in and pull the license. The dark red divorce certificate arrived. I said to Nian Nian, go. Today when mom is happy, take you to eat a big meal. Behind me, Lucas North seemed to say something. That night, I received an asset transfer. I tacitly accepted it and didn't ask Lucas North, who had sold a large amount of assets, including company shares, to me, fearing that his company would not be able to survive. But that is not important to me. His business has nothing to do with me anymore. I took Nian Nian and settled in another city. And in the decades that followed, life was cozy and I never saw the old man again.